Hi, this is Blake Levine. I'm so grateful that this is a glorious, fun time where you got the free ticket to be able to attend this Eventbrite. With this free Eventbrite ticket, you get two things. First, you get the learning that we're going to talk about with me live. I am your trade tutor and coach. And secondly, you get access to VIP tutoring and coaching. The thing about the training tonight is it's really important. I was just talking with my daughter and my wife and my son, and there's different times when making much more money is a big, big need. And what I just looked at from some of my records was a time this year, 2024, that I turned my money in one day from the amount that it was 19 times. So let's just put that in different examples. So with $100,000, that's 1.9 million. With $10,000, that's 190,000. With $1,000, that's $19,000. With $100, that's $1,900. Now, the reason I'm so excited to talk about this is I was looking at different things. The lottery raises money for schools. They're starting school here, again, where I live in California. And one of the things about the lottery is it's very rare that you win. Plus, you have so many people. If you look at how many tickets were sold, the idea of ever making a huge amount of money is something that can happen that's rare. But in stocks and trading, 19 times is possible. Now, I want to say you might go through a whole year and get it once or twice or three times. But even having the gifts and the knowledge to understand how it works, how to actually make 19 times on your money. Plus, one of the things about making 19 times is I was involved in real estate, and I was a real estate agent. I was doing rentals where I would work for many weeks and sometimes get a commission check of $200 or $300 or $500. And it would be so hard to get that final deal where the tenant moved in and the company that sold them or rented them, the unit would pay. So when I got into stock trading, the idea of making 19 times seemed very exciting because rarely would I make a huge amount in real estate. And I had talked to people that did sales and it could take a year or two to do a big deal. And many times, being open with the rentals, I would get someone that would fall apart. Though I was really good about trying to keep it together, but it could take weeks. And then someone chooses another place or doesn't move or doesn't get approved. And you lose all of that. Even in business, maybe you're doing something, you go to an event or you rent a table, you're laying out all this money. And here and there it works, and when the economy is not working great for all people, you might not make your money back. But with stocks, there's two sides, and I want to talk to you about these two sides. One is, let's say you have a set amount. Maybe you have 100,000. Maybe you put 95,000 into things that are very secure and safe. Now, you probably know about secure and safe ways. If you had 100,000 and put 95,000. There's so many things like mutual funds or ETFs or even secure stocks. Maybe you want ones that are part of Dow components or even NASDAQ ones. So that's very secure. But with the 5,000 from the 100,000, you might want to learn to be more aggressive and learn to trade and have it as one of your tools. One of the things I found, let's just say you have the 100,000 and you have 95,000 in secure things. If the stock market is going down, you end up having risk. So let's say on 100,000, if you have 95,000 in stock, it could go to 85,000, 82,000, 70,000. So you could lose a lot. Now with the stock options and small caps, you could hedge and protect yourself. So let's say you had the 95,000 and went down. Like I was recently looking at things which were ETFs that trade on the NASDAQ. So if the NASDAQ goes down, they go up 2 to 3 times the amount. So in a week or two of the NASDAQ going down, this ETF can skyrocket. In options, you can make something like 19 times. Now, there's the opposite, where last week some stocks were doing great. And you can say to yourself, in a short amount of time, you can have leverage. Instead of risking your 95,000, you can take a small amount and turn it into a maximum amount. Now, one of the things that's great about that is when you do the 19 times, it's something that feels really prideful and successful. And I know for myself, this year has been one of the better years where I already made that 19 times. I took the money out of using it. I used it for things with my family. My wife actually went on a trip to Bordeaux, France, and toured wineries, and she went to Paris, and some of the money helped for that for her. So what I say to you is learning about stock options and learning about small caps with a tutor is incredibly helpful because there's all different things I want to teach about. Now, my background in social work and psychology, I've written some of the best sellers in psychology. Like I wrote Beating Bipolar, which is the top holistic book on bipolar. I also wrote The Psychology of Adult Coloring. And one of the things I talk about with psychology is how stocks work. Now, you might have a thing where you make small amounts for 3 or 4 or lose small amounts, and then on the 5th or 6th, you get to a giant 19 times gain. So I work on helping your psychology to understand the risk, understand how it works, and to be into it for a long amount of time. So you do have those moments. And I look back and I've seen times where there's 19 times, several times. And if you would have told me at the beginning years ago that I would see 19 times profit and understand it, even the idea of double profits, if you have 1,000 turn it into 2,000 in one day. I was looking today with my daughter at the 19 times. It was literally bought on one day for an amount. The next day, it was 19 times more when I sold. So I want to teach you things like this, but I also want to teach you about the reality. Like if you have 10 attempts and you fail 8 or 9, even if you fail all 10, how you can decide to do such a small amount, it won't feel like the worst risk, and you can keep learning. One of the things I found with the markets and psychology is the more you learn and the more you study, the better you get at actually succeeding. Today I read the South China Morning Post for news in China. I read last week about Russia because Ukraine had went into Russia. I read the Moscow Times. I read the Sydney Morning Herald, Australia. I read the New York Times, the New York Post, CNN, Drudge Report, Fox. Sometimes I'll read 50 different news outlets in a day because it gives me an amount of knowledge that makes me feel really connected to how markets are going. Plus, about big events, if they're having a World Economic Forum or they're having a big talk with countries and economies. It really helps. Even things like learning about China and holidays that are coming up. We have Christmas and here in the U.S. and certain holidays, Thanksgiving. In China, they have special dragon boat festivals and things. And you can see sometimes, like we have something called the Santa Claus rally. Some of these Chinese markets, they can have special rallies and things around holidays there. So by learning about this and understanding, and working with a tutor, I have a 100-point system. I've gained after all these years. I'm 45 at 18 trading. So I have over 25 years of knowledge where I have 100 points I teach you and work with you on and help you to understand. Plus, you might have questions like you might want to know what the likelihood of something happening, or is it possible you can make 25 or 50% in a day? Could you look to make trades over a week, over a month, even if you want over 6 months, and have someone to ask you questions, to motivate you, to listen to you, and to give you the 100-point system I have that'll show you really great tools. So by attending this event, I'm grateful that you learned a little bit about how 19 times is possible. And I think these days, if you could do that, you could actually, in the next year, let's say, you set a goal today, in 1 year, you're going to have a 19 times winner. I think you'd be very happy and very excited. Plus, being connected into the market is something you can do every day. So many people have told me if they're looking for work or retired or left a job, it might be boring. There might be nothing really great going on, but the markets are open every day. And learning about your own psychology, how you take loss, how you take gain, how you take risk, and what you really want in your life. One of the things about trading is it gives you an idea of who you are. It helps you to understand how markets are, how life is, how the economy is, and then different things, how war impacts it, how different presidents could impact it, how other countries impact it, how costs of gas, of all different things that come up. I was trading gas last week, and understanding the psychology of how these things really work and getting sort of like an insider's look of what it really does instead of maybe people go out there and risk. Even if you've traded some, maybe getting someone supportive that can build you back up. I actually saw one time I did really great. I had a coach working with me, and it boosted my trading a ton as soon as I hired someone to work on some of the skills. And that's what I do now for you. I help build you up and give you that better chance of better outcomes. So I want to thank you for listening, and I'll leave you with this one last tip for attending. So when you're seeking gains, even a 25, 50, 100% gain is huge. And with options, it's quite possible. In terms of different ways throughout a year, you could find times that you think that the profits are going to be there. It might be a Santa Claus rally. It might be an earnings season. It might be something they have investor days. So some stocks talk about what they're going to be doing. And you might say, let's say investor day is on a Thursday. You might buy on Tuesday or Wednesday. And if you buy Tuesday or Wednesday, by Thursday or Friday, you'll see a big change. So by building up your own knowledge and even understanding that, figuring out what stocks you want to learn about, figuring out what the gainers are doing. And then that's something I would tell you. If you want to work with me at tutoring, that would be great. I'm happy to help you. And one of the things I can show you is to watch how the gainers are going, because many people wish if they got the stock that was going on, let's say it's a $10 stock, it would just go, if it's already went to 11, then it just keeps going 12, 14, 15, 19. That is so rare, and sadly why it's hard. It's hard to find something that's straight gains, and if you bought with options, you can make a ton of money. But understand, if you watch it a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, even when it's not as hot that people are focusing on it, seeing how it's done and understanding that. So you tell yourself when it goes from 10 to 11, you think it might go to 12, but knowing what it really could do, because sometimes it goes up, down, and then a few weeks later it's flat. And even watching that, watching these hot stocks over 3 months, 6 months, or a year, you understand how it intrinsically really trades. And you psychologically can figure out how you can be a winner and how you can build. And having the gift of understanding trading, it's having your own business. You can have a simple app. I was looking into, I think, Public and another one, Robinhood. 2 simple apps you can trade. You can even E-Trade or Merrill Lynch, and you can be in your own business. So my tutoring, instead of spending, some people spend $100,000 or $500,000, they buy a business. They have to pay rent every month. This is a no-cost business except your capital. So once you've learned and you've gained your own gifts and knowledge and you're ready to go forward, you can then have your own business. And it's the type of business you can set up any day to be trading or take away. You could go 6 months, even 2 years, 3 years, and then choose to get in when the time is right. Please do check out. You're going to get an email from my team. If you signed up, you got this ticket. Would love to work with you with the tutoring. I've worked with a lot of people over the years. I was a therapist for many years, helping people. Then I did coaching one-on-one after writing a best-selling book and traveling all over the U.S. But now I'm helping you with this as well. If you want to get a tutor, look for those emails, because we were charging $10,000, $9,999 for a 1 week intense training. And now we're doing something beautiful by doing this VIP event. You get reduced cost tutoring. You can do it for as little as 30 minutes to get a feel for how well it is and grateful it is to learn. So thank you so much. I'm happy you attended this Eventbrite. I wish you a great day or week wherever you are. And because it's on Skype, we can do it from anywhere in the world. So look for that email. I hope to see you guys soon. And to all of us, let's keep trading, hopefully, and making the profits. When I saw that 19 times again today, I wanted to share it with you so you can think about big, bold, beautiful, giant profits, like a 19 times profit this year in 2024 that I achieved, and how someone like you could learn. Listen, and if you want to call it luck, you can find it by mastering the psychology of trading.